Hi everyone, it's Laura Volpes and today I'm going to share with you how I set up my Canvo bullet journal for the month of June 2020. As always, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section down below. This helps me knowing that you do enjoy the content so that I can create more, and it also helps the content being shared with more crafters who are looking for inspiration out there. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to be always up to date with the release of new videos and to activate the notification bell. And now let's dive into the tutorial. As always, I will be playing with products in the Canvo Club Kit subscription. You will get one small stamp, one larger stamp and a stencil every month if you subscribe to the kit, and here I'm showing to you what's included in the Canvo subscription for the month of June. I really love the outdoorsy and fresh theme of this month, and this stencil is great for habit trackers, for example, but also for weekly layouts. I'm going to use my Doodle Garden Canvo bullet journal and some more supplies in the Canvo line, and everything will be listed and linked in the description box down below for you. I'm going to jump right in and create my monthly overview page. I penciled my calendar in using the half calendar stencil by Catherine Puller Designs. I love how these stencils are sized perfectly to fit in the pages of the Canvo bullet journal, and it makes creating your pages really fast and easy. After going in with a pencil, I'm going to go over the lines using a small ruler and my fine liner. This small ruler came into a toolkit for my silhouette portrait when I used to have one, and I find it's the perfect size for my bullet journal. The fine liners that I'm using right now are by Spectrum Noir. They come in a pack with I think 5 or 6 different sizes, which also includes a brush pen, but I also use fine liners by Faber-Castell. I kind of alternate between the two. I'm going to stamp June with Midnight Ink by Catherine Puller Designs. I used the smaller stamp in the Canvo subscription kit and a small acrylic block to stamp my image, and then I'm going to move on and work on the second page. I like to work with a 1 month on 2 pages type of layout, and the half calendar stencil is the perfect size for that. I find this gives me enough space to write down what I need to do over the month and get a good overview of my tasks. If you prefer to work with a 1 month on 1 page type of layout, there is also another stencil which is called full calendar stencil, which will allow you to create the 1 month 1 page type of layout. To highlight the days of the month, I stamped one of the smaller images in the larger stamp set in the Canvo kit using Tiara and Be Mine inks by Catherine Puller Designs. And then I'm going to use Midnight ink to stamp the days in the week on top of my calendar. The stamp set that I used for this is called Bullet Journal Basics, and I think it's a great basic stamp set for your bullet journals. I am just mounting my stamps on an acrylic block, and when I'm done with the stamping, I'm going to clean them with a chamois that then I can keep in this nice chamois holder. It's so lovely that I wanted to show it to you guys, and I wanted to show you how I can spritz some water in the holder to keep the chamois moist. I'm using a Crayola marker to highlight the days in the week and to create a drop shadow around the word June. As I often say, I love Crayola markers for my bullet journaling because they are quite inexpensive, the quality is good enough for what I need, and you can get a lot of colors without spending too much. In terms of the color palette for these pages, I decided to keep it a little bit softer compared to May, which was a little bit too strong for my taste. I mentioned this in the video that I shared about my May setup, so this time I kind of learned my lesson and I found something that works better for me, which was having a softer color palette, as I said, and also cleaner pages in general. I made a couple of mistakes here in writing the day numbers in my calendar, and I'm using a white gel pen to fix them. I'm going to then very quickly and very simply decorate my pages using stamps in the larger set that came with the Canvo kit. I love those little lanterns, so I stamped 3 of them and I drew in some strings using my fine liner and the ruler. With the label stamp in the set, I'm going to basically create a section for my notes, and then I decided to stamp the tent using Aquatini Ink by Catherine Puller Designs at the bottom of the page. I wanted to decorate that label a little bit more, but the color of Crayola marker that I picked was not really matching the pink that I have on my pages, so I went over that with a Stabilo fine liner. These are also some great fine liners which are rather inexpensive and are another great asset for my bullet journaling. I highlighted every other line in the notes section with a light gray brush pen, and then I moved on and worked on my tracker page. I used the stencil that came with the June Canvo kit, which is perfect to create trackers. I went in with a pencil first and then I'm going over all the lines using a fine liner. If you watched my previous videos for bullet journaling, since I started using my Canvo, you will know that I do not track my habits, but in these pages I track my activity on social media. I basically have one tracker per social media platform I am active on, and then I just put a little dot in the calendar corresponding to the day where I had a post on that particular platform. You know what a habit tracker is, this is kind of the same, but it's like a posting tracker. If you are interested, by the way, in getting more inspiration from me, you should definitely follow me on social media too, because I share even more projects there than I do here on YouTube, basically for time reasons, so you will find links to that in the description box down below as well. I filled in each individual tracker using Stabilo fine liners and my Spectrum Noir black fine liner, and this is something that you could reproduce and put habit trackers instead. I highlighted the titles of the trackers with a blue Crayola marker, the same that I've been using for my monthly overview. And then at the bottom of the page, it is where I will keep track of the followers I gain weekly on the different social media platforms, just to see what kind of response I get based on the content I put out there. I probably will switch to a monthly tracking for my social media because I feel like I don't really go and keep track of it every week, so just having the numbers at the beginning and at the end of the month I think will be enough. If you don't care for social media, what you could do using this spread is to have your habit trackers at the top and, for example, record your expenses at the bottom of the page. In any case, I think that this stencil will become a staple in my bullet journals because I think it's really functional and useful. On this page over here, I am creating a large table, and this is where I keep track of the progress for the projects that I have in the month. Again, I wanted to give another try to this spread, but I think I will kind of move on from it because I haven't really used it a lot in the past months. So I'm going to give it one last shot, and then maybe I'll find something else to keep track of in my bullet journal pages for July. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to skip through this really quickly because I don't think this is interesting in general for everybody here. I just wanted to show you how it looks and let you know that you could use something like this, for example, as a cleaning spread, where on the left you have the room and on the right you have individual tasks that you need to fulfill to have that room cleaned up. Just a little idea for you, or you could let me know what you would use such a spread for. This page here can be considered an activity tracker, I guess. I will have my to-do list as well as my wish list and my ideas section in this page, and then I also decided to record what I'm reading and what I'm watching. When I say reading, I also mean listening to, because in the last few months I have really gotten into audiobooks. I love listening to them while I create, while I cook, for example, and sometimes I also do that before bed, or if I wake up in the middle of the night and I have trouble falling back asleep, that's also a great help for me. So I decided to record this information too because I want to get a little bit more into the journaling part of bullet journal rather than only focusing on the productivity part of it. To create the actual layout, I used another stencil by Catherine Puller Designs, which is called Weekly for Stencil, and again I'm using stamps in the stamp set that came with the June Canvo Club subscription to decorate my page, always sticking to that pink, yellow and teal color palette. This next page was a little bit of a challenge with myself, so lately I've been very lazy when it comes to cooking. I used to love it, and actually I started my blogging adventure with a food blog, so I wanted to get back into it, but I don't want to overwhelm myself either, so I decided to create this page with 5 boxes, one for each week in the month, and each week I have to find and try a new recipe, and then I'm going to write down the recipe and my comments here on this page. To create the actual page, I used the same Weekly for stencil that I created on my previous one, but this time I flipped it upside down so that the layout would be just slightly different and I have just more interest on the page. I'm again using my Crayola markers and my stamps by Catherine Puller to very quickly and very simply decorate the page, and then I can move on and start working on my weekly pages. For this I used the Weekly 3 stencil, which I find perfect for weekly pages, and I combined it with the Weekly 4 stencil. With the Weekly 3 stencil I created the daily sections on my spread, and then for the notes section I used the Weekly 4. I stamped the days in the week using stamps in the Daily Plan stamp set. I love this nice and scripty font, and I stamped them with black ink. I used my own handwriting in this kind of a mixed font that I've been using throughout these pages to write the title of this spread, and then as always I have a small calendar at the top of my weekly spread, and there I will write the entire month and highlight which week in the month we are at. I find this very useful because it gives me a feel for where we are in the month, basically. For a little bit of decoration, I'm using my Crayola markers, and then I'm going to draw in the boxes where I have each day in the week using a ruler and a fine liner. With the stencils, I had first penciled everything in, and then I'm just going in with the ruler. I find this the best way for me to create my pages. I like very much this vertical layout and I am kind of sticking with it. I tried something different last month, but I am back to this because I find it the most efficient way to utilize the space and have enough room to write everything on my daily sections here. I have a notes section at the top of the page, and here is where I am going to write the things that I have to do throughout the week but that don't necessarily have a specific deadline. Those little lanterns are so cute that I had to stamp them here, and I used Tiara Ink by Catherine Puller Designs. I chose a light ink because I'm going to write the day in the month where those lanterns are stamped. At the top of the second page I have 2 boxes. One is for a to-do list, so this is similar to the notes section, but I would say it's just more work-oriented. And then I have a next week section, which is something that I have found really useful. Here I'm just going to write dates and tasks that I have for those dates, so that when the current week is ending, I know already if I have a deadline coming on Monday, so maybe I have to work on it on Friday, for example. So this keeps track of what's happening in the future, and as I said, I found it really, really useful. I'm using again Crayola markers to highlight the days in the week, and I used teal for the weekdays and pink for the weekend. And then here I'm going to stamp this sign. This has 7 different individual boards, and you could use it for weekly trackers or for your weekly spreads, but I decided to use it to write some positive affirmations for me. It can be a little bit tough these days with everything that's going on, so I decided to write some positive messages that will get me thinking hopefully throughout the week and give myself kind of a positive message and something uplifting. The positive affirmations I decided to write down are smile, be grateful, love yourself, be kind, life is good, you are enough, and just breathe. The idea was that every day in the week I will look at one section from this board and try to implement that throughout the day. hopefully bringing some positivity to the week, especially now that I think it can be a little bit difficult at times. Maybe you can use this as inspiration too, and I would really love to know what you think about this. I used a black fudenosuke brush pen to write in the days in the month, and that finished off my weekly spread and my bullet journal setup for June. Here is a quick flip through. I have to say that I really loved the way this turned out. I loved the products in the June Club Canvo subscription. I think they're really cute and really functional with that habit tracker type of stencil. And I love the cleaner look and the softer color palette compared to May that I created for June. And that's it for today. As always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know with a thumbs up and a comment in the comment section down below. And if you're new, you can subscribe for more card making, paper crafting and bullet journaling inspiration. As always, thank you all so much for stopping by. Stay safe and healthy and have a great day.